Hey guys, I'm here to do the final part of my bookshelf tour, and I am super sad to actually conclude this bookshelf tour because I've really enjoyed doing it. But this part is going to be focusing on this bookshelf here, which is my final one. And the only other thing that I said I might do is the tour of my DVDs, games, CDs, and just videos. So if you want to see that, make sure to let me know. I'm not actually going to do it straight after this video because Booktubeathon is coming up. It's tomorrow. It starts tomorrow. So tomorrow I will be posting up my Booktubeathon reads list, and then I will be just probably gone for a long time because first I'll be reading, then I'll have my holiday. But as I've said, I filmed a few videos and I might put them up on schedule so you get them each day or every couple of days whilst I'm gone. So you won't have to miss me and you will still have things to watch until I return on the 3rd of August. So without further ado, let us conclude, very sadly, the bookshelf tour, and let's see what I have on here. So as usual, we're starting on the buffet because I can't reach this high and neither can my tripod. Up here I have 4 little fairy friends to go with the rest of them, and then all of my other toys over there, which you guys might not have known existed, but you will soon enough in the room tour, and I'll talk more about them then. But anyway, going back to these, we have, as I've looked at these before, but I have my London Eye bear and my Harrods bear sort of in the middle. Then I have the bear which I bought for my dog in France, but apparently it was too nice to actually give to him, so he's never actually had it and it just sits up here. Then I have a bear from Dorset, and I won this in a machine thing. It's from the Electric Palace, apparently, in one of the grabber machines. I have an RNLI dog, and that's the lifeboat institution thing, whatever it's called, and they are responsible for saving people who are drowning in the ocean. And I got this so I could support the charity and to just basically help them out with their funding. And then we have Bolt, who is the dog from the film Bolt, I think. Is the film called Bolt? I don't know. But this is Bolt, and he sits up here because he matches the dog next to him, and that's pretty much the only reason he's here. Shelf 1 is my adult books, because I pretty much have a few adult books and they all fit together on here, so that's why they're just here on this shelf and not anywhere else. So at this end I have 4 Terry Pratchett books, and my friend is obsessed with Terry Pratchett. He loves every single book that he's ever written, and as it's my birthday, like every year in the middle, he has some money after Christmas and he just buys me a Terry Pratchett book every time. So he's bought me The Amazing Maurice and The Wee Free Men, but I've bought myself Nation and The Colour of Magic. So I enjoyed Nation. I didn't like The Amazing Maurice, and I haven't read the other 2 yet, so that's a bit of a mystery to me. But Nation was absolutely fantastic, and Terry Pratchett's writing is good, but it's just not my sort of thing for the most part, so that's why I didn't particularly like it. Oh no, please go back in. There we go. So I did like Nation, but I didn't like The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents, just because it was kind of boring, but that might be because I was younger, so I might reread it and see what I think again. Then I have The Wee Free Men, and then finally I have the first book in the Discworld, which is the entire big series that Terry Pratchett writes, and that is The Colour of Magic. Here I have The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, and this is the first in the Wheel of Time series, and I haven't read this. I don't think I've read many of these books actually, if any of them. I've read a couple but not all. Then I have The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. The Murder at the Vicarage by Agatha Christie, which is my first book by Agatha Christie that I've ever read, and it was really good, so I'm looking forward to reading more. I have Martina Cole's Faithless, which belongs to my mum, but as you guys know, my mum always just leaves the books for me and never takes them to read them. Then I have The Bourne Identity by Robert Ludlum, and this is the first, I believe, in the Bourne series. There's The Bourne Identity, The Bourne Ultimatum, and other things, but I can't remember them all. I have Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, who is unfortunately no longer with us, which is really sad. He died last year, I think, and that was really tragic. Then I have 1984 by George Orwell. I haven't read that, but I've read Animal Farm. I've got 5 of the Collins classics here. I have The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. I don't even know how you say that. Then I have, oops, that one's coming out again. I have The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain, and I've got The Adventures of Tom Sawyer somewhere else. I have Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, which I love because it rhymes. I have The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and everybody loves this, so I'm going to have to read that definitely soon. And the final one, which is the only one I've read out of these classics, is Robert Louis Stevenson's The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which I read for English. Why do people have to drill things? Why? Why, especially during a video, why? Then I have Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck and East of Eden by John Steinbeck, and I've read both of these and I love them. And I got the matching covers just because it looks cool. So yeah, that's good. Then I have Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which is by Susanna Clarke, and I showed this, I think, in my A to Z book tag, and this is a massive book which my English teacher recommended to me. Next to that I have The Tiger's Wife by Taya Obret, and I bought this because it was on offer at the time I bought the rest of the books, so I just sort of bought it because it was cheaper to buy it at that time. I've not read it. I've got Theodore Boone by John Grisham, who is an acclaimed crime writer, and I'm looking forward to reading that because the kid is the lawyer. He thinks he's a lawyer and he's about 12 or something, I believe, and that's just really interesting, so it'll be an interesting thing to see what that's like. I have 2 books from World Book Night, and I haven't passed them on to anyone else because I'm a hoarder, guys. I can't even let them out of my sight. I have I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith, and then I have The White Queen by Philippa Gregory, and this has been changed into a TV series, I think, hasn't it? And it's been showing recently, so that's quite cool. I've got The Undomestic Goddess by Sophie Kinsella, and I bought this because Deborah from Deborah's Book Cafe said that she loved Sophie Kinsella's writing. Next to that I have My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult, and this is the saddest book ever. Do not read it, but it's brilliant, so do read it, but be prepared with tissues. I've got The Clan of the Cave Bear by Jean M. Auel. I say names like that just phonetically because I really can't do it. I think it's something like Owl, maybe. Owl? I don't know. And this is the first in the series, and I got this because Tim from Bumblesbee read it absolutely ages ago. I remember watching his video about it, and it was just, I don't know, but it was ages ago, and I remember seeing it in his videos, so that's why I have that. I have P.S. I Love You by Cecilia O'Hearn. And then, at the very end, in the darkness, where it will never be pulled out of the shelf again, I have 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James, because my sister read it, and I saw it everywhere, as everybody did, and I wondered what it was going to be like, and I read it, and it was the worst decision of my life, but it wasn't the worst book I've ever read, funnily enough. I think it got a 3 out of 5 from me, not because of what it was about, but because it wasn't actually that bad written. Like, there's worse books on my shelf, I have to say. So between shelves, I have this little sticker which I robbed off of one of the books that I've borrowed from my teachers. I like to take things if I find them in books to keep as a memory of reading them if I've borrowed them. I found this on the back of The Voyage of the Frog, and it's just a sticker that nobody will need because it's his own book. And then I had a post-it note from inside a book, and I took that as well, so that's just interesting. I have been reunited with my tripod, which is the best thing ever, because that means I can just pick out the books and put them back so much easier. So at this end, we have my 3 John Green books. I have The Fault in Our Stars, Looking for Alaska, and An Abundance of Catherines. I don't have Paper Towns or Will Grayson, but I'm hoping to pick up those soon because they were really standing out to me, but I just wanted to buy other things at the same time, which kind of sucked. But anyway, I have The Fault in Our Stars, which is an absolutely brilliant book, but incredibly heartbreaking, so only read it if you have a stock supply of tissues nearby. It is actually that sad. Then I have Looking for Alaska and An Abundance of Catherines, and I haven't read either of these yet. But Looking for Alaska looks like this. And the thing that strikes me most about these is that they're all published by different companies. This one's published by Dutton, this one by HarperCollins, and this one by Penguin. I don't know, maybe John Green's going for all of them to see which one works out best for him. So this is the cover of An Abundance of Catherines. Next to that I have The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. I have The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, and I'm currently reading A Thousand Splendid Suns, which is awesome, so I'm looking forward to reading this, because this is supposed to be better than that book, so I am super excited to read it. And I've actually found out today that Khaled Hosseini is a boy, which is strange. I thought it was a girl's name, but who knows? It's a man, which is strange. But I don't know why I thought it was a woman, but it's a man. Then I have Delirium by Lauren Oliver, who wrote Before I Fall. I have Gone by Michael Grant, and for some reason my copy has creases in it and I've never read it, so how this happened is beyond me. Next to that I have Holes by Louis Sachar, which I read for school in year 7, which is the first year of high school over here, and it was absolutely fantastic. I would highly recommend this. Then I have The Brotherhood of Pirates by William Gilkerson, and Jesus Christ, this is even worse than 50 Shades of Grey, and I mean that sincerely. When I read it, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't get past chapter 3 or something. I got that far in and I was like, no, cannot read this. So I wouldn't recommend this book. However, I am going to try and read it again because I did read it when I was about 9 or something, so it might have just been too much or just too much to handle, so I couldn't actually read it. But I would not recommend that book whatsoever, even if it sounds good. No, it isn't. Don't try it. Next to that, I have Bloodhunters by Steve Voke. I have Evermore by Alison Noel, and this is one of the books that I picked up during my school's book swap, so I'm interested to see what this is like. I've got The Enemy by Charlie Higson, who I believe is on tour at the minute, sometime around now at least. I think it's in the south of England, so if you live in the south, you should check out your local shops to see where the hell this guy is, because I'm sure it will be a very, very nice experience to meet him. I have In Darkness by Nick Lake, and Nick Lake is the editor of Skullduggery Pleasant, as many of you, if you read the series, will know. So I was interested to see how his actual writing compares to his editing, because his editing is flawless, so I'm interested to see how his writing compares to that. Then I have Wormwood by G.P. Taylor, and this was in the clearance section of Waterstones a long time ago, so I just felt like, why not, let's have this. I haven't read it yet, so I have no idea what it's about, but it looks interesting enough, so yeah, I have that there. Here I have Snow White and the Huntsman, which I believe is a novelisation of the film, but it could be the other way around, and I could be wrong. There's no set author on the cover, but I think it has 4 people written in it, hence the 4 names on the spine. So if I can find the actual page, which is here, it says it's a novel by Lily Blake, and it's based on the motion picture, so it is a novelisation, and the screenplay is by Evan Doherty and John Lee Hancock and Hussein Amini, so that's the other 3 names, so it's based on the film, so this is a novelisation. And this should really be with all my other movie adaptation books, but it just doesn't fit, and I have nowhere for it, so it's just sort of here randomly. I have the first book in the series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, and this is the first one, which is The Bad Beginning, which is a suitable name for a beginning of a series, to be honest. Go in. There. So here I have Pigeon Summer by Anne Turnbull, which is one of those books that I just bought because of reasons that don't actually apply. Then I have The Diamond Brothers in The Two of Diamonds, and this is by Anthony Horowitz, who writes the Alex Rider books and the Power of Five books, and this was the World Book Day title that I chose for this year. Then I have a box set, and I have no idea what these are about. I just found them randomly in my house, and it's a trilogy, I think. I think this is all of the books in this series, and these are by Alan Garner. And this looks to be a bit like The Lord of the Rings, but I bet it isn't. So in order, I think it is The Weird Stone of Brisingamen, then The Moon of Gomrath, and then Elador, which is the last one, that has a slightly bent corner that I should probably try and sort out. So yeah, I found these randomly. I don't actually know what they're about, but I will hopefully read these at some point. They're not on my list at a high point, but they're on it. Then I have 2 books which are basically autograph books. I have Writers I Met and Liked, so that's obviously for authors. And then I have Teachers I Met and Liked, and this is for the teachers that I have in school who, basically, I want to remember above all others. So in the Writers I Met and Liked, I'm just going to show you a couple of these because it's kind of interesting. If I go behind the camera, so I can see where the hell this is going, I have my little thing from the Michael Morpurgo event I went to, and this has my name on it because I just wrote it there for reasons. I have a signature by S.L. Powell, who wrote a book called 50/50, and I think she won the award that she entered, actually, so that was cool. I have a signature by Curtis Jobling, and obviously I have Bob the Builder because he created Bob the Builder, so that's cool. After that I have a signature by Will Hill, who writes the Department 19 books, and he wrote Luxie Tenebres, and I can't remember what that means. Then I have my signature from Cassandra Clare, and that's the post-it note thing that they stuck on my book so she knew what to write. And the final two are my Derek Landy signatures. I have his doodle of his face and his doodle of skullduggery there, which is cool. I won't show you my teacher's one, but I am thinking of making a video about it because it is literally one of the nicest and coolest things I own. But I will pick a random one to show you. So let's do this. I'm going to hold it here and then just let it fall open on this. What is this? This is my astronomy teacher, guys. Oh, it's cute. Okay, that's me and my astronomy teacher, who is awesome. He's called Mr. Calvert. And he wrote, "You have worked so hard, Georgina. You deserve everything that life has to offer. Best wishes and good luck. From Steve Calvert." And he wrote astronomy because obviously he thought I'd forget him. Which is sad. Why would I forget him? He's awesome. So yeah, if you want me to look at this, I have loads of nice messages from my teachers in here, and it just makes me cry every time I read through them. Because, why would you write such nice things? I'm not a nice child. But anyway, that's there. This is my Waterstones Literary Diary, which I won from the Waterstones Twitter. And I haven't really used it yet, but because it's a literary diary, I used it to get signatures in when I met authors. So in February, which I hope I can get it open on, which is here, I went to see Derek Landy in February, and look what he did to it. I saw him on the 20th, and he decided that he would scroll all over the next 4 days as well, so that's cool. And then I saw him again in April, I think, so I should have that one here as well. He did the same thing, he just scrolled everywhere, so yeah, that's that. These are really nice, guys, they're really cool. Should get one of these, they're actually awesome. Then I have my Collins English Dictionary with a really badly taken off sticker. It would not come off, which is the most annoying thing ever. I've got a word search and a Sudoku book, because I love puzzles. I haven't done many of these, but it's a bumper edition, so I can do these whenever I get bored. And it's awesome, because I used to be the word search champ. I could complete any word search in under a minute, no matter how many words it had in it. That was just something that I could do as a kid, and it impressed everybody. So nobody ever challenged me in the first one to complete the word search wins a prize thing. They were just like, oh, Georgina's going to get this. And I did, because that's what's my power. And then I have my Sudoku book, and I love Sudokus. They are the most fun puzzles other than word searches to do. I don't know if I've done any of these. Oh, I have. I've done a few. So, yeah, I didn't get to these mega hard ones at the back yet, but I will eventually. I have the Writer's ABC Checklist, and this is a book by Lorraine Mace and Maureen Vincent Northam, and these are basically pieces of advice in a book, and this is what you should do in order to be successful as a writer. And it's really interesting because I want to be a writer, so it's a really interesting resource, which is good. I saw this and I just had to buy it because of what it's about. It's My Grammar and I, or Should That Be Me? And this is by Caroline Taggart and J.A. Wines. Grammar is one of my favourite things. You might think I'm crazy, but honestly, I just love grammar. I love perfecting grammar. I love correcting grammar. I am a grammar Nazi, and I am proud of it. So this has loads of different things in. It just tells you what's right for different things, and it's so useful. So if you are one of those people that doesn't really know what style of grammar you're supposed to be using, get this. It is actually the most helpful thing ever. We're not even going to look at these. Well, we are, but not much. Okay, you guys know that I want to be an author, right? I did NaNoWriMo about 4 years ago because I was in year 7 and I was 11 years old. This is my first novel. I bought 5 copies of it, and it's not the best thing I've ever read. And it's definitely not the best thing I've ever written. I read it back a couple of years ago, and oh my god, the amount of errors, but still. It was the first attempt I ever did at a novel, and I was quite proud of it. And loads of people wanted to be in it and to read it and stuff. So you will never find this in a shop, but it is called Wandering in the Supernatural, and it is by me, Georgina Howlett. And here is a random page filled with words. And you know the worst bit? to be continued, because I didn't even finish it during NaNoWriMo, because that's... Why would I put a smiley face? And it's a proof copy, obviously. So yeah, I have 3 of those. I gave one to my form tutor who left, and I have one... Who did I give my... I don't even know who I gave my other one to, but it's gone somewhere. Similar to the Writer's ABC Checklist, I have the Insider's Guide to Getting Your Book Published, and this is by Rachel Stock. And this is basically about how you get books published, what you should write to editors and people, what you should say. It's just basically how you get your book published, hence the Insider's Guide. And then the final book here is actually by someone my mum knows, apparently. And this is The Writer's Treasury of Ideas by Linda Lewis. And this cost me 12 quid, I think. Might have been discounted because we know the woman. And it's actually awesome. It is one of the best things I've read that's written by pretty much an indie author. It covers loads of different things about, you know, what you should do to get an idea. And honestly, this actually helped me so much to think of some things. It's actually really good advice. So if you want to buy that, I think it's on her website. On this shelf is a bizarre collection of things, really. I've got my ARCs and review copies, some YA books, some adult books, more YA, my classics, and then some really old books at the end which I have no idea where they came from. So at this end I have, in my ARCs and review copies, The Arrivals by Melissa Marr, and she is the best-selling author of the Wicked Lovely series, and I haven't read that either, but if I like this I will definitely check that series out and see what I think of it. So if I can put that back there. Then I have Unbreakable by Elizabeth Norris, and this is the sequel to Unraveling, I think it is it? Yep. And since this is the second book in the series, it's going to be kind of hard for me to pick up, so I'm thinking of picking up the first book in the series and reading that first, and then writing my review on this. And I'm going to be doing the same thing with the next book, which is Earthstar by Janet Edwards, and this is the sequel to Earthgirl, and I haven't read Earthgirl either, so I'm thinking of picking up those 2 first books, and then reading these and writing my reviews and sending those on to HarperCollins. So next to that, I have Icons by Margaret Stoll, and I've read this, and I gave it a 3 out of 5, because whilst it was good, it did have lots of recognisable elements from other post-apocalyptic stories and other dystopians, so I just found it sort of unoriginal, if you get what I mean. It was nice, and it was fun, and it was easy to read, and it was good, but there were too many things in it that I just have seen before in other books, so that's why I didn't like it as much as I liked the next book, which was bloody awesome. It was the best thing I've read, apart from The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón this year. It is The School for Good and Evil by Soman Chainani, and this is awesome. Honestly, it is so original. I've never read anything like it, and it puts a really good spin on fairy tale retellings, because it actually writes its own fairy tale at the same time. It is a fairy tale story, which involves other fairy tales, and it has a princess and a witch and a castle and a school, and it's just, honestly, brilliant. So if you want to read something good, that is good, okay? Read this. This is actually highly recommended by me. Right, we have the 3 popular books which I've seen all over BookTube recently. We have The Fifth Wave, Throne of Glass, and Ready Player One. So The Fifth Wave is by Rick Yancey, and I've seen this everywhere. Honestly, there is not a single channel that I've not seen it on, and I picked this up on Monday when I was out shopping with Jack from Reading with Jack, and I saw this and I was like, instantly, let's get this, because it was on offer, and I managed to get it with a different book, and why wouldn't you? It's supposed to be absolutely fantastic, so I'm interested to see what this is like. Then Jack's personal recommendation, which he sort of shoved me towards, like, buy this, is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, or Mars, I'm not really sure. It's a double A, so I think it's probably Mars, but anyway. This is apparently hotter than The Hunger Games, which annoys me a bit. Let's just pretend this isn't here. This sticker doesn't exist. And this is supposed to be a really good book, and he said it's absolutely fabulous, so I'm interested to see what the hell this is about. And it's actually thinner than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be this massive book, but it's not. It's like a normal-sized book. Then I have Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, and this I pretty much bought because it looked more interesting than Legend by Marie Lu. I was going to buy Legend, but then I saw this, and Jack saw this, and then we were like, this is the last copy, and I was like, yep, I'm having this, I'm going to swap it from Legend, so I did, and I am excited to read this because it sounds like a brilliant, brilliant book. Next to that I have a book which my drama teacher recommended before she got pregnant, and it is The Time Traveller's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger, and I haven't read this yet, but it's absolutely fantastic, says many people, and there's the film as well, which was sad, so I am interested to see what this is about. I know it's vaguely about this guy who meets his wife at various points in their relationship and their lives and stuff, so that sounds really interesting, and I've not read anything like that, so I love the idea, but I haven't read it yet. Then I have, wait your turn. I have The Book Thief by Markus Zusak, and I haven't read this, but Jack has, and he didn't particularly like it, so I'm sort of uncertain what I'll think, but it's something about books, and it's about a book thief, and that sounds like the kind of person that I would be, instead of being, you know, a thief of other things. There is a really annoying fly. Oh, it's gone back out again. That was smart of it. Well done, fly. So I'm going to put this back here. They're all going to tip because it's too heavy at that end. But then I have Switched by Amanda Hocking, and I know that Brad absolutely loves Amanda Hocking, so I'm interested to see what this is about. Next to that I have another popular favourite, and that is The Maze Runner by James Dashner, and I haven't read this yet, but I know that the film is soon coming out, which is scary, but I will be going to see that when it comes out if I haven't read the book by then, because I just will. It sounds like an epic story. And then the final YA book is Pure by Juliana Bagot, which I got a while ago. And look, it says Love the Hunger Games. Again, it's another one of those annoying books. Okay, you've seen all the other books before, so I'm just going to zoom in and not show you the covers because I pretty much showed you them all when I did my haul of them. So in order, we have The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I have The Children of the New Forest by Captain Marryat. I have The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. I have Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. The Hound of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. The Railway Children, which has received its first complaint, might I add, the film, and that's just plain ridiculous, because apparently, you know, it, encourages children to play on railway tracks. No, it doesn't. But anyway, that's by E. Nesbit. Then I have Heidi, which has received so many comments on the video. Everyone's saying it's a brilliant book, and I've never even heard of it, but I apparently have to read it as soon as possible, so I will. And that's by Johanna Spyri. Then there is The Coral Island by R.M. Ballantyne. Tales from Shakespeare by Charles and Mary Lamb. It's really hard to read this writing sideways. Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Pollyanna by Eleanor H. Porter. The 39 Steps by John Buchan. Go Away, Fly. Jesus. Lorna Doone by R.D. Blackmore. The Prisoner of Zenda by Anthony Hope. Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. Little Women by Louisa M. Alcott. Silas Marner by George Eliot. And finally I have The Call of the Wild by Jack London. So that's all of those classic books there. So I'm going to turn this back to where it was now. And then these two books here are incredibly old, and I have no idea where they come from. They're both the same. They're both in the Abbey Rewards kind of thing. That's what the symbol is there. But look how yellow the pages are. Look how battered they are. And honestly, they don't even have a publication date in or anything, so I have no idea when they came out. But I have Gypsy at Grey Walls by Judith Carr, and The Mystery of the Island by Isabel Knight. This shelf is pretty random as well, but for the majority it is actually in order, sort of. At this end, I have my book to movie or movie to book adaptations. I have then some random books here, The Chronicles of Narnia, a couple of the books, and then it goes into animal stories, up until this end when it goes into Michael Morpurgo books, and then some random ones that don't fit anywhere else there, and then the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books that I got from the paper, which I got from coupons because my dad insisted that I needed more books that I would never even read. So yeah, let's go from this end. So we are starting with all the book to movie and all that stuff, which I just thought should go together because it was appropriate. I have The Invincible Iron Man, Tales of the Golden Avenger, and this is by a bunch of people, so it's kind of hard to identify a single author of this, but on the back it says this stuff, if I can get it to focus. It says it's written by a bunch of people: Eugene Sun, Rick Spears, Robert Vendetti, Fred Van Lent, basically all those people, so feel free to read those rather than me saying them. So that's that. Let's wait for it to focus back out. There we go. Next to that is a book I bought for studying, and this won't go back in. Oh god. Please go back in there. Please. Please. There we go. Begging always works, guys. I have J.P. Priestley and Inspector Calls and Other Plays, and I bought this for an Inspector Calls when I was studying that in English, and I enjoyed it, to be honest, but I'm not probably ever going to read any of the other plays in there, because I don't like plays to read, but if I have time and I'm bored enough, I might venture into that. Then I have Skellig by David Elmond, and this is a fantastic film, guys. Honestly, it is brilliant, so if you want to see a good film, watch it. And also read the book, because obviously books are good and they're the best things ever, and you should totally read the book, because the book is great too. I have the Madagascar movie novel, which is a bit kiddish, but it's cool. I love reading it, and it's got in the middle some cool pictures and things, so don't judge me. I just like films and it's cool, so I'm putting that back. Then I have the Pirates of the Caribbean novelisation with hot people on the front, and this has also got pictures in, such as the pictures from the different scenes of the film and all this stuff, and yeah, good, also good. Finally getting onto a book with an author again, I have The Rules of Modern Policing by DCI Gene Hunt, and you will recognise this as the book that Gene Hunt from Ashes to Ashes and Life on Mars, in reverse order, because Life on Mars came first and then Ashes to Ashes. But anyway, this is The Rules of Modern Policing, 1973 edition, so this applies to Life on Mars when Sam Tyler got sent back in time, and this is hilarious. It's basically the rules that he follows. Ashes to Ashes is my favourite out of the two, but my mum prefers Life on Mars because that was more original, but you know, they're both really good, and Gaelix is my OTP. It's just awesome. Then I have the Sherlock Holmes Handbook, and this is by Ransom Riggs, which is cute. It's actually a really nice little hardback book, to be honest. It's got illustrations and stuff in as well, so it is actually excellent. Then I have one of my favourite novelisations. I have the Back to the Future novel, and this is by George Gipe, and it is based on the screenplay by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale. Awesome. Awesome film. Love the third one the best. I don't know why, but I do. Then I have the first Thunderbirds, and this is by John Thaden, and this is weird. The original Thunderbirds was just weird, guys. It was actually quite weird. Okay, here's a book that somebody, I've forgotten your name and I'm terribly sorry, but you said that you really loved this book, and I have never read it, but I found it. And it is A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I can't say that name properly if I do it fast. Frances Hodgson Burnett. There we go. And this is actually smaller than regular books, and it just gets in the way a lot. But it is actually a nice little addition, and the text size is actually quite good for a book of this size, so I will read this and I will let you know, whoever you are, whether I like it or not. I found this next book under a fire guard that we were using to guard a radiator, and it's pretty obvious to me that nobody had ever touched it for several thousand years. It is Far From Over by Sheila O'Flanagan, and I think this is a biography because of reasons. Is it? Oh no, it isn't. It's not. It's fiction. It looks like a biography. That is so misleading. But anyway, this is fiction, guys. Wow. Okay, I'm going to read this soon. That's much better than I thought it was going to be. But, yeah. That's a good revelation to make in, you know, the middle of a video. Then I have 4 of the Chronicles of Narnia. If you watched part 1, you'll have seen the box set even. And this is what I had beforehand. So, I have... As you guys have seen these, but oh well. I have The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, The Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I have 3 Animal Arc books by Lucy Daniels. I have 2 of the actual proper ones, and then I have 1 of the Hauntings collection. I really want the rest of these, they're so good. I have Wombat in the Wild and Rue on the Rock, which are adorable. And I always wanted all of them because they're just so brilliant. There's one for pretty much every animal that you could think of. And then the Hauntings one is Foal in the Fog, which is cute as hell. So I'm going to put those back. For most of these shelves, it goes big at the ends, small in the middle, then gets big again, just so you know for the rest of these. I have Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, which my maths teacher recommended. I pick up a lot of books that teachers recommend, to be honest, because they know things, guys. Then I have The Little White Horse by Elizabeth Gudge, something. And this book I picked up because of this little thing down here. And it says, I absolutely adored The Little White Horse by J.K. Rowling. Has everybody heard the revelation, by the way, that she wrote a crime novel under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith, I think? And Robert Galbraith, I think it's the entire name, or it might just be the Galbraith bit, and it means famous stranger. How awesome is that? She published it under a different name so that she wouldn't have the hype or the expectation around her when she did it, and everyone apparently loved that as well. So it's not just a thing that she's J.K. Rowling, it's because she's actually such a fantastic author. Here I have the entire My Secret Unicorn collection. This was my favourite childhood series. Like, when I was younger, this was my favourite childhood series, and then after that it became Harry Potter, and now it's Skullduggery Pleasant. So my first favourite series of all time was this series because it's just magical. There is nothing you can fault at all. So I'm going to show you these. I have, in the bind-up of the first two books, I have The Magic Spell and Dreams Come True, and these are all by Linda Chapman. Ugh, this is going to be so hard to do. I have Flying High. Should I just pull them all out? Yeah, I'm going to pull them all out, because this will just be so much easier. Okay. Oh, this is going to be hell to put back. So the fourth one is Starlight Surprise. The fifth one is Stronger Than Magic. Please ignore the collapsing books as they collapse. I have A Special Friend. These are all in numerical order, by the way, if you want to buy any of these. A Winter Wish. I didn't actually read them in this order. I had a bunch of them, and then I bought the rest when I was 15, I think. So that was only a year or so ago. A Touch of Magic. Snowy Dreams. Twilight Magic. Friends Forever. Rising Star. Moonlight Journey. Keeper of Magic. And finally, Starry Skies. And it is a 15-book series, as is denoted by the little 15 up there. And it is honestly so good. If you have young children, if you're an older person on BookTube who has like a young girl or boy, they will love this because it teaches you so many good things, and honestly I can't recommend them enough because they shaped who I am, and it's just good memories, and that's why I've never got rid of those. I've started a new series called the Phantom Stallion series, and it's sort of similar, but it's not at all, because that's about unicorns and this is about horses. But the point is, it's an equally long series. It's about 24 books long or something, I think my friend said. My friend actually recommended these because she loved these when she was younger as well, so I thought I would try these. I have the first two books. I have The Wild One, which I've read, and it was awesome. And then Mustang Moon, which I'm yet to read. And I have to say something to you American people. I hope you don't take offence at this, but your paper sucks. I have to say, it is the most ugliest paper to feel ever. It's weird and bendy and bleh. Anyway, next to that I have National Velvet by Enid Bagnold. I have Gobelino, the Witch's Cat by Ursula Morey Williams. It's getting increasingly hard to put these back. Oh, this is so cute and childhood-like. I have A Bear Called Paddington by Michael Bond, who everyone will recognise if you ever saw the cartoon of Paddington. Where did I just get this from? There. I have Jan Mark's Taking the Cat's Way Home, and this is awesome. It's such a thin read, but it always entertains me, no matter when I read it. I have A Home for Jessie by Christine Pullane Thompson. And then that's all of the animal books, I think, apart from, obviously, the couple of Michael Morpurgo ones which are here. But for my Michael Morpurgo 5-book collection, I have, I'm just going to take these out so it's easier. So I have Warhorse, Kensuke's Kingdom, which I read in year 6 and adored. Honestly, that's just brilliant. I love the Japanese element as well. The Butterfly Lion, which I picked up incidentally after I'd met Michael Morpurgo. This was the book that I bought after I'd met him, because it was cheapest, but don't tell anybody that. Then I have The Amazing Story of Adolphus Tips. And finally, Private Peaceful, which my teacher lent to me, but this is actually a copy that I bought for myself, and I love this book. It's really sad though. It's really, really sad. Right, moving here, I have The Moving Statue by Hazel Townsend. Hydra by Robert Swindells, which I think is probably, looking at it, my brother's book from when he was a kid. I have Sundowners, Ghost Town, and this is by James Swallow, who I think is the same guy who wrote the Doctor Who novel Peacemaker. And then finally, at this end, I have 4 Diary of a Wimpy Kid books by Jeff Kinney, whose books I have not read. I've read the first one, the original Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but I've not read the rest. So I have The Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kinney. So these are all by Jeff Kinney. I'm just saying Jeff Kinney because I forgot that I'd said Jeff Kinney. Then I have The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. Does Roderick rule? Who knows? Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days. And the final book I have on here is the Diary of a Wimpy Kid Do-It-Yourself book, which I assume is a book that you write yourself. Am I right? You look like you do things yourself. So yeah, that's what you do with that. Here we have more childhood books, and also books which I have found in my house and that I got sent from the paper, much like the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. So it's a bit of a mix, but it's actually mostly kids' books, so that makes sense. So this end is my Enid Blyton stuff. This is where my Enid Blyton stuff goes. So first, I have 4 giant hardbacks, and the first one is the Secret 7 collection. And honestly, these are some of my favourites. These are what inspired me to actually write in the first place. This is the sort of stuff that made me want to be an author when I was about 6. So then I have the Famous 5 Mystery Collection. This is the one that I got most recently, actually, this next one. I have the Further Adventures of the Famous 5, which is the one that I got only a couple of years ago, whereas the others I had since I was about 6, as I just said. And then here, I have the Naughtiest Girl collection, and for some reason I think I prefer the Naughtiest Girl over the Secret 7 and the Famous 5, just because it was more relatable, because I've never had a club type thing like the Secret 7. That's a bit beyond me. But I have had some school experiences, and that actually inspired me to want to go to boarding school, but I've never been to one. So I have no idea what it's like, but I hope it would be nice. So then I have here more Wishing Chair stories, and the Wishing Chair I think I saw mostly as an animation rather than reading the books, but I loved it a lot. And that should probably be the other way around, actually. This should be next to the other one. I have The Naughtiest Girl in School, which is the 70th anniversary edition, so whatever. So I'm going to put that back where it should go there. This is my mum's favourite Enid Blyton book, which I also love. It's The Six Bad Boys. Brilliant book. And I loved it when I was a kid, and I still love it now. I have The Enchanted Wood. Oh god, this book is actually in bits. I have no idea what my sister and brother did to it, but they destroyed it completely. It is The Wishing Chair again, and, well, yeah. I have Happy Adventure Tales, The Castle of Adventure, and it says now a major TV series, so when the heck did this thing come out? Probably a long time ago. And then the final book I have here is The Ship of Adventure, which is yet another equally good story. Then I have some of the Babysitter's Club books. I haven't read these, but for some reason, just for some reason, I want to get more of these, even though I've never read them, because they seem exactly like something that I would read. So I have 2, 38 and 50, so there is a lot of these by the looks of things. In chronological or number order, I have Claudia and the Phantom Phone Calls, and these are by Anne M. Martin. Then I have Christie's Mystery Admirer. I was going to say Christie's Mystery Murder then, that was not going to go well. And then Dawn's Big Date. I have 3 of the Anastasia books by Lois Lowry, and I have in this, as it says here, focus, please focus, I have Anastasia Krupnik, what? Anastasia again, and Anastasia at Your Service, so that's those. I have some school stories, that's about all it says, and these are by Eleanor M. Brent Dyer, and I have The School at the Chalet and Joe of the Chalet School, and this is a 2-in-1 binder. Gonna go around the other side, as ever. So I'm up to here, and I have The Children Who Lived in a Barn by Eleanor Graham, and Little House on the Prairie by Laura Ingalls Wilder. I've heard of that. Where have I heard of that before? I've heard of that book, for some reason. I didn't know I had it, though. I've got What Katie Did by Susan M. Coolidge, and I think I have this on the 100 Classic Books collection game thing that I have for my DS, so that's cool. I have, as with above, I've got The Railway Children twice, haven't I? I've got The Railway Children by E. Nesbit, and I think this one doesn't have what are they called, illustrations, so I might give this away because it is one of my favourite books. So that is that. I have The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. I think it's Kenneth Grahame. It's hard to tell when there's just a scrawl and no actual writing, but I think it is Kenneth Grahame. I have, this is on its side because it's weird and too long, The New Forest Ponies, and this is by Mike Reed, and I bought this when I went to the New Forest, which was lovely, and the ponies were okay apart from the one that bit me on my chest. That was green for months. Honestly, it was horrible. So don't touch the wild horses, guys, and especially don't go after the one that everyone says will not like you and is dangerous, because I was a really bad kid and I just went after the one that everyone said was a bit creepy, so yeah. I have Leon by Helen Griffiths. These are getting onto the kids' books now, I'm afraid. I've got My Brother's Famous Bottom by Jeremy Strong. Then these are all part of a collection, so I'm just going to pull all these out in one if I can. There. Oh no, I've missed one. This is actually a really good book. It's The Invisible Dog by Dick King-Smith. I love that. Okay, moving on to these. I have, if I can do this right, The Diary of a Killer Cat by Anne Fine, The Worst Witch by Jill Murphy, Mr. Majaka by Humphrey Carpenter, which I remember being a favourite of everyone in my primary school, so I should probably read that, because I never did. The Werepuppy by Jacqueline Wilson. This was the favourite book of my friend Heather, who I used to play Animal Crossing with all the time. But I've never read it myself, but I will, because I have it. I have The Hodgehog by Dick King-Smith. The 100 Mile an Hour Dog by Jeremy Strong. And Millie Molly Mandy Stories by Joyce Lancaster Brisley. So those are cool. Here I have two sort of tale books. They're sort of for kids. I don't really know. They're not fairy tales. They're just stories and bind-ups. And they're stories for the young reader. I have The Teddy Bear's Picnic and Other Stories, and The Singing Bear and Other Stories. And I remember reading these when I was a kid. And I have some duplicates of these, actually. Well, I have like a lot of them, but I haven't got them all up here. Because I was thinking of selling some, but I probably won't be able to bear it. I've got The Strange Adventures of Emma by Dorothy Ann Lovell. And then the rest of the books on the shelf are my not Enid Blyton, my Roald Dahl books. So, yeah, I'm going to take all these out. I have, obviously, Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is Diddy. I got it in a cereal packet. I've got it in Nestle Cheerios, I think, or Shreddies or something. That's where I got it from. I have my childhood favourite, Matilda, which is awesome. Right, this is funny. I used to say this, ESIO Trot. I never thought you could say Easy-O Trot, but I said ESIO Trot because I was a really weird kid. Oh god. I got this in the book swap that I got. It is George's Marvellous Medicine. This is going to be quite slow. I have The Twits, which is hilarious no matter when you read it or how old you are. The BFG, which is another of my favourites. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. James and the Giant Peach. And then Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, which is the sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I think. And then I have this random book here, which didn't really fit anywhere else due to the fact that it's too tall. And it is Little Old Mrs. Pepperpot by Alf Preussen. And this was 15p, apparently. I'm sat on the floor, and this is the shelf that will make Jessie from Jessie the Reader cry, because I have my entire Peanuts collection at this side and then some random books over here. So starting with Peanuts, this is going to be incredibly hard to do, and I'm going to try. This is the 60th edition, really big hardback, and oh my god, I love it. It is the heaviest book you can imagine though, so I'm going to try and do this without, you know, ruining everything. I'm going to stick my knee in the way so it doesn't fall off. Okay, this is the box, which has got Charlie Brown on it, Snoopy, and then it's got Snoopy on the back, which is awesome. Then it's got Charlie Brown's stripe on it, which is just, Here is the actual book. Oh, it's so heavy. It is massive. It contains every single strip ever. And it is in this lovely sort of bind up. And it's celebrating Peanuts for 60 years because it was the anniversary. Look! It's so good! And look, it has them all in date order. It gives you the date that they were printed and everything. And then as you go on, I think there are coloured ones. There they are. It's just, honestly, I love it. I love it. It's awesome. But anyway, this is the 60th edition of Peanuts, and I think this cost me 40 or possibly 60 pounds. I don't even know why I have the rest of these, to be honest, if I have that, but I suppose it's just habit. So I have Around the World in 45 Years. This is the 45th anniversary book thing, and these are all by Charles M. Schulz, as many of you will know, and I'm sure every American will know. Then I have It's a Dog's Life, Snoopy, and It's a Big World, Charlie Brown, in a lovely blue book there. I have a box set of 5 of the books here. In this box set I have, if I can do this, I'm going to flip them over, here we go. You've Got It Made, Snoopy. You've Got to Be You, Snoopy. This is a Snoopy box set, so I think they're all Snoopy. It's Your Turn, Snoopy. Oh no, this one's Charlie Brown. This is The Best Time of Day, Charlie Brown. And it's Showtime, Snoopy. So that's awesome. How does one put these back in a box? Okay, let's move on to the rest of them. I'm not going to pull them fully out, I'm just going to pull them out a little bit. So, I have, if I can do this. Go For It, Charlie Brown. This is going to be so hard, they're all tight on the shelf. Peanuts for Everyone, or Everybody, whichever you want to call it. You're My Hero, Charlie Brown. Oh god. Keep Up the Good Work, Charlie Brown. Oops. You're Something Special, Snoopy. Have It Your Way, Charlie Brown. For the Love of Peanuts, and For the Love of God, I just pulled that out, but at least I can try and shove it in like this. If I put my finger in. Come on, there we go. Oh god. This one's so cute. This is awesome. It's Snoopy and the Red Baron. It's just, honestly, that's beautiful. Here, if I can get this out, I have Play Ball, Snoopy. This is so hard. This Is Your Life, Charlie Brown. Oh, God. Alright, I'm going to give this up. I'm not going to pull any more out now. I can't actually get them out easy. So, They're Playing Your Song, Charlie Brown. So then, for the rest of them, I'm just going to say them because it's so much easier. So, from here, this is They're Playing Your Song. We have Who is that dog I saw you with, Charlie Brown? You've done it again, Charlie Brown. Slide, Charlie Brown, slide, which is my favourite one of all time. We're on your side, Charlie Brown. You're a brave man, Charlie Brown. You've got a friend, Charlie Brown. Who do you think you are, Charlie Brown? They always end with either Snoopy or Charlie Brown. Or unless it's like a special one, like Peanuts for everybody. Good old Snoopy. Fun with Peanuts. All this and Snoopy too. It's for you, Snoopy. You're a winner, Charlie Brown. The Wonderful World of Peanuts. Did I already say that one? Did I? Did I? No? Yes, no. I have got several duplicates of these, so that's why I'm kind of... I think the other one will be downstairs. Here Comes Charlie Brown. Nobody's Perfect, Charlie Brown. Your Choice, Snoopy, which is another favourite of mine. What Now, Charlie Brown? You Are Too Much, Charlie Brown. It's Your Turn, Snoopy. I think I've said that one. God, this is so confusing. Let's Face It, Charlie Brown. Try It Again, Charlie Brown. You Can't Win Them All, Charlie Brown. Very Funny, Charlie Brown. You're Not For Real, Snoopy. And You're a Pal, Snoopy. So that's my Peanuts collection, which is even bigger, believe it or not, than my Warriors collection up there. And my Skullduggery Present collection. So there is something that is bigger than all of them. Then over here I have Varjak Poor by SFZ, which I used in my A to Z tag thing. Then I have 3 books about golden retrievers and dogs because okay, my parents wanted me to look after the dog, and I do, but I'd never needed these to actually work out how you look after him, so these are kind of just sat here waiting. I have golden retrievers, and is there an author on this? Sheila Webster Bonham, PhD, so it's a doctor. I have everything you need to know about golden retrievers, but this is an American retriever, so yeah, and that doesn't have an author on it. I have Complete Puppy and Dog Care by Bruce Fogel, so that's the lot of dog books. Then I have The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame with illustrations by Justin Todd. I have Enid Blyton's bedtime book, and this obviously doesn't fit with the rest of them, so that's why it's sat down here on its own, like it is. It's a loner. This little red book, which you probably couldn't even see, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this is by... it doesn't have an author on it. I have Cool Facts About Rocks and Minerals, and this is everything you need to know about rocks and minerals. My friend bought me this, the same one who buys me all the, what's his name, Terry Pratchett books, so I kind of kept that, even though it's not the best thing in the world. Then I have Little Women by Louisa M. Alcott, but a huge illustrated edition. I have The Animals of Farthingwood, and this is by Colin Dan. Yep, Colin Dan, and it's illustrated by Stuart Trotter. This is so cute, guys. I have A World of Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne and E.H. Shepard. I love that so much. Then we're getting on to the 2 factual books, which are crazy. I have... oh, this is so cool, guys. It's Wonders of Life, and it's written by Brian Cox, and the TV show was absolutely fabulous. If you love science and stuff, I would highly recommend watching that. Then I have the book which horrified me since I was age 7. It is The Human Body, and I read some of that, especially the bit about sexual reproduction when I was 7, and it scarred me for life ever since. But at least I knew what was coming. And then I have Classic Fairy Tales, and that is that. Woo! Well guys, that is the concluding part of my bookshelf tour. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope that you will like it and comment on it, and maybe even subscribe if you liked what you saw so much that you want to see more of me. So I'll see you in my next video, which will be my Booktubeathon reads, and I hope you enjoy that as much as this. And I have been Georgina, and I will see you tomorrow.